everyone, welcome back to the Cottage Kitchen. I'm Cheyenne with the Rosevine Cottage Girls, and we have our milk out and we're ready to work on some homemade cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is super easy to make, so if you've never made cheese, this is a great starter recipe to get you moving into cheese making. You just need a couple of ingredients to do this, and of course a slow cooker. So let's get our stuff and we'll get started. To make cottage cheese, you're going to need a gallon of milk. We're using raw cow milk, but you can use your fresh milk from your own animals. You can use goat milk. You can use straight from the fridge, room temperature, slightly warmed. Anything is going to be fine. You're also going to need some animal rennet, some culture. This is a mesophilic culture or cultured buttermilk. This is the cultured buttermilk that we'll make, and I'll do a video a little bit later on how to make your own cultured buttermilk for cheese making. You're also going to need some filtered water, a slow cooker to process this in, and 1/4 of a teaspoon, and we're using a half a cup of culture. To begin with, you are going to want to add your milk to your slow cooker. You're going to want to make sure that all of your equipment is very sterile because you are working with milk. Alright, to that we are going to add our half a cup of cultured buttermilk. Give that a stir. There we go. Alright, we are going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of animal rennet to our filtered water. Mix that around a little bit. It's going to help it to combine and mix in with our milk just a little bit easier. Alright, so we are going to pour this into our milk, and then we are going to stir this for 5 minutes. This cheese is a super easy one to make, a lot like the yogurt video that I'll link up here somewhere. It's super easy. Both of those are great if you are new to the world of working with dairy, just to get your toes damp and start getting confident around working with it. It does have a much different flavor. Actually, I think it's a better flavor than store-bought because you get the time to actually let it sit in culture because it's not being mass-produced. There's the timer. Alright. So we're just going to cover this up and move it to the back of our counter, and it's just going to sit there. Alright, 20 hours is up, and we are going to put this curd into 1/2 inch pieces. Today's video is brought to you by us. Make sure you stop by rosevinecottage.com/shop to check out our line of wonderful, luscious goat milk soaps. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, just roughly We're going to cut it into a grid. Going both ways, so we're going to switch directions here. This is just going to help let the whey out of your curds as you begin to cook it down. One last cut, we're going to go this way and cut the layers. This just makes it easier to work with in smaller pieces. There we go. Now we're going to let this sit undisturbed for 15 minutes so that these cuts will begin to heal and toughen up, and then we'll be back to start cooking it down. Alright, so our 15 minutes is up. We are going to turn this on and we're going to begin heating it to 110 degrees over the next 30 minutes. And we're going to use a whisk. If you like your curds and your cottage cheese to be a little bit bigger, go ahead and use a wooden spoon, but we like them a little bit smaller. And we're just going to gently stir every once in a while. The more you stir, the smaller it gets, so keep that in mind. You just don't want it to stick. You don't have to use a slow cooker, but I've found that it works really well and it keeps everything off the stove so I can be doing other things while this is culturing and cooking down, and it just saves me time. And you're just gonna, every once in a while, give it a quick stir. Be really gentle, move slowly. This is not the one you want to ferociously whisk. And then just let it sit. Alright, so 30 minutes rather is up, and we're going to, once it's hit temperature, hold this at 110 degrees for 45 minutes and let it cook. Stirring occasionally. You do not want to over stir, it will just become mush. So just every once in a while, I do it about every 10 minutes, just gently run your whisk through, or your wooden spoon, and then just keep an eye on it. Alright, our 45 minutes is up. We are going to pour this through a cloth-lined colander. Alright, now we are going to let this drain for about 3 minutes. Going to gently knot the top. We're going to hang it just like we would any other of the cheeses that we've done. Alright, we're just going to let it hang for 3 minutes, and then we are going to plunge it in an ice water bath for 5 minutes. Our timer has gone off, and we are going to start plunging it into the ice bath. We're just going to repeatedly dunk this into a bowl for at least 3 minutes. Then we will be draining the curds yet again. there's no timer. We're going to let this drain so that all the water comes back out. And the remaining whey will go ahead and drain, and then we're ready to move on to the final step. Alright, we're just going to pour our drained cottage cheese into our bowl. We're going to try anyway. There we go. Oops, still not it. That's fine. You can drain it a little bit longer. If you feel like at the end you need to add milk, you can. This one looks pretty good, but you can add 1/4 cup of milk once you're done draining. And now's like the time to season it. So we just like salt in ours, but you can add whatever you want to your cottage cheese, herbs, pepper, whatever. And remember, the more you stir it, the smaller your curds are going to be. So for this one, we've got quite a small curd. I'm just going to salt it to taste. Again, if you use a wooden spoon or don't stir quite as much as I did, it will be a much larger curd. But either way, it is delicious. Perfect. Delicious flavor, perfectly salted, perfect for our casserole in the morning. So that's it. That's how you make cottage cheese. It's really easy. It's a little bit of a long process, but it's absolutely worth it. Thank you for joining us for another video here at the Cottage Kitchen. We'll see you next time. As always, the links and resources are down in the description down below. We'll have recipes and everything you could need. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel so you can see more content like this, and we'll see you next time at the cottage.